You know, we got to the point where we thought you'd run out of teams to coach. And now it appears maybe you run out of countries. Russia, China, is that it?
You never know. It's been a trip, that's for sure.
All right. The 85 final we're looking at, and then we'll see some video evidence of it after we finish here. You win the first game. Did you think you could win 3 more?
We knew we were up against a juggernaut, and I was exceptionally proud of our team. We won the President's Trophy. We started at home in a 2-3-2 series. We had the youngest team in pro sport.
And you were how old?
I was 35.
So youthful and behind the bench as well.
We had a team that wasn't expected to make the playoffs. So we also had to beat Mr. Potvin and the Islanders to get and move along the way to get to the finals. So when we got to Edmonton, our team was a young team, just as they had described the other team against the Islanders. And I knew we were going to have to learn a lot of lessons quickly. So to answer your question, I wasn't sure.
No. How did you react to the Game 1 loss?
Well, I wasn't happy about it. I think that game I put Essa Ticket in the lineup, and they were so busy trying to kill Essa that they forgot about playing hockey, and then our guys started to get going. I mean,
that's when the NHL had the rules. I said, I was watching the warm-up, and I said, who's this Essa Tikkanen guy? Where'd he come from?
well, he'd never played in the NHL until that game. Barry Fraser,
the fans would like to know a little story, too. At the same time, we were running out of players. Bob Clark retired and became the general manager in his first year. He practiced every single day with us. So I turned to Bobby and I said, Bobby, you've got to dress now. They got Deacon, and we can at least put Clark back in the lineup.
Yeah, that's a pretty good countermeasure. Didn't work, though.
It didn't work.
Now, Mike alluded to the 2-3-2 format, and so Game 2 is awfully important. You don't want to come back here down 2-0, and that was a tight game. 3-1 with an empty netter to allow you to tie the series. You would agree that was probably as important as any of the other wins?
Yes.
More important. Did you like 2-3-2? Did you like the idea that you're back home here and you might never have to leave?
Well, at that time, we didn't travel by charter. And our team all year long have been going back and forth from the west to the east. And these guys have become pretty conditioned to it. And I knew the Philadelphia team, who had a lot more money, and they chartered a lot, would be a little soft. So we took advantage of that.
We didn't like it at all because I had a youthful team, the youngest team, as I said, in the league, and we had to hang out in Edmonton. There were a lot of distractions for a team that average age was 23 to hang out here for a week. I think Mr. Sather probably put some of the distractions in place for us.
I don't think your team needed any help.
Okay, so the tide turns, and you're down 3-1. And give me a sample of the pregame speech prior to Game 5.
Is this before we stole the cup or after? That's another story that Glenn and I share. We both stole the cup during the series.
Well, no, we'll hear that now if you wish.
Well, I put the cup in the middle of the room prior and said there'd no one on the team that had won the cup. Markel was his oldest and most experienced player and our best player. So I said, you can't touch that cup. You can only look at it. The only way you can touch it is to win it. But Glenn made sure I never got a hold of the cup again. He put it in the trunk somewhere after he found out what had happened. So.
No, that's not true.
No. Hey, by the way, Denny, we had the same decaf coffee in our room.
That's not true either.
So you just call the league and say you'd like the Stanley Cup? Well, and they tell you, no, you have to.
No, actually, it was in the building, and I went and...
So you stole it?
Yes. That was the only way we could win it that year.
So a game 5, as we all know, wasn't close. 7-1 after 2 periods. Was it like walking the 18th fairway at the Masters with a 6-stroke lead, coaching the 3rd period, or do you never let up no matter what?
No, I never felt that, we were overconfident about anything, and we always had a rule in our team that you never let up. And whether you're up 4 or 5, you just keep going. And I like the part about always being on the offense rather than defense. So our team was aggressive. We tried to stay aggressive all the time and push it, and they did.
So they say if you can't beat them, join them, or have them join you. 94, Rangers, Messier, Anderson, Lowe, Keenan, you knew who he was by then, help you win in
Actually,
New
I had
York.
no problem with translation with Keenan. I knew it fluently.
No, and now Chinese and Russian as well.
Exactly.
So good. So that was no coincidence, right?
Yeah, it really started before that in '87, after we played the Oilers again, and Glen would graciously offered me the job to coach Team Canada. And now I was exposed to these best players in Edmonton, and I was really taken away about how humble they were, how talented they were, how great of people they were, and that the genesis of it all started from there. Of course, I coached many Oilers in various teams that I coached throughout my career, but they understood and really taught our other players how to win. And that turned out to be one of the greatest championships as well in New York. And some of the greatest championships in Canadian history, '87 Canada Cup against the last Soviet Union team, the greatest team, and many of the Oilers were instrumental, certainly, in being a great part of that, particularly the people who are on stage tonight that celebrate the greatest team ever in the history of the league and of the game.
Slats, not for the last time, hopefully, but would you like the opportunity to address, I asked Mike for a sample of his pregame speech. Would you like to just talk to these guys one more time and congratulate them as a group for this honor that they have won, you have won? Yeah.
Well, can I speak like you were speaking and swearing? Is that okay?
I was quoting other people, Glenn.
Oh. Well, actually, I always had a very short pregame speech with these guys. It was always dealt with practice, and John Muckler and Teddy Green would do a lot of the preparation before the game. I would come in, and what we would do is I would read the visiting team's lineup, and then one of the players, it was generally Keenan or Kevin Lowe, or somebody would bang on the back of the door, and we would boo the players that were on the starting lineup of the other team, and we'd go out and kick the hell out of them.
Want to follow that?
Yeah, I've heard those boos before from the opposing locker room. I think you had things piped into us. Again, I'd like to send my congratulations to the group, the leadership group, to Glenn and your staff, to have this nomination and to be around this group for the weekend. You can see and understand why they won. They love each other. They appreciate each other. They worked for each other. They cared for each other. And they competed for each other. And when you've got that, and we learned that in New York, and Canada Cup, Wayne Gretzky, captain of Canada Cup for '87 and '91, when I coached 2 golds. Mark Messier, captain of the New York Rangers. You learn a lot from people, and it was part of my growth as a coach. I was a rookie coach, but I learned a lot from the Oilers, and particularly a lot of the men that are on this stage tonight, Anderson and Keenan and the group that joined me in New York. But and I brought many of them to many other places, so maybe they want to come with me to the next venture in the next country. I'm not sure.
We'll find out later tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, 2 of the greatest coaches of all time, anywhere in the world, Glen Sather and Mike Keenan.